Hello people, what is going on? Mr. Challenge here is coming at you here with a dungeon explain video on the Ghoulden Palace. If you guys don't know, currently it is October 2024 and we have our Halloween event going on. This dungeon is very special. It only opens for 1 month pretty much. At the time of the recording, this dungeon runs up until November 5th, 2024. So you got a month to run it. It's not too bad. Depending on your luck, it could be a treat or a trick. But let's get right into it, folks. The special thing about this dungeon is that it's a maximum of 3 players. So even if you do attempt a duel, like I am doing here with a friend, you're not put on that big of a disadvantage just because you're just down 1 player. That being said, this dungeon, it's not too difficult per se, but things can get out of hand very easily due to the mechanics. And speaking of mechanics, one thing to keep in mind is that every time you hit an enemy, other enemies are going to be gravitated towards that enemy you hit. That could work towards your favor or against you. Like I said, trick or treat. That's a pretty good way to put it on describing this dungeon. Another thing to keep in mind is that whatever team composition you go and tackle this dungeon with, make sure you have the ability to do positioning, MP manipulation, long range, because you're going to be fighting at long range. Actually here, I'm actually rocking the Dofus. I think that's what it's called. The Dofus you get from the Ascension Island, which the +2 range comes in handy. Because even though these guys don't hit hard, you still don't want to get hit, regardless. Right off the bat here, a big part of this is just managing the mobs. Your big priority here is taking out the little bat. The bat has a spell where if it hits you, it turns you into a ghoul, and pretty much it takes your character out of the fight. There's not much you can do as a ghoul. So definitely first priority, take out the bat, followed by the two big guys, and then the boss character. So at the beginning it's not too bad, just playing from afar. One thing I really wanted to do is get a bow on my Saram. Fortunately, there's like no bow covers on Grinderpan for some reason. But yeah, you are going to be playing at a distance for the most part. So make sure you got your long range spells on deck, because they're going to come in handy. So here you see the Cellar doing very decent damage with a Dark Ray and the hand spell. That's because this little guy, this little ghouly guy, what he does is every time he hits something, he decreases their resistance. That's another reason why you want to play at a distance, because if he hits you, you're going to have negative resistance, which means you're going to get hit that much harder. The thing about these ghoulies, about all these ghoulies, but for the most part the little dude, they have like Schaefer AI, which again, trick or treat. It can work against you or in your favor. Because they have Schaefer AI, they run around and hit whatever. If they even decide to hit anything at all. And these guys are going to be integral to defeating the boss in this dungeon, because the boss, he is not invulnerable per se, but he does have very high resistances. I believe he has 140 resistance. So technically, I mean, you still can hit him, but you're not going to do any damage. So the big thing here is you want to keep these little ghoulies close enough to the boss, but not so far that they can't hit him. At the same time, you want the boss around the ghoulies, but not close enough where if he switches places with them, he becomes invulnerable. So you have these things kind of coming against you. The way I kind of work around it is I use summons to kind of bait the boss. So I did this dungeon a few times just to test some stuff. The way the boss works is he prioritizes player characters to hit. So if he can reach one of their characters, he's gonna run after that character. If there is a summon around him, he's gonna go after that summon. And then if he can't hit anything, he is gonna swap places with his little ghoulie minion, which is what you don't want, because then you waste a turn pretty much. Speaking of summons was a very effective way for me to kind of work around more of playing the positioning game. If you go this route, make sure your summons are bulky enough where he doesn't kill them. They're pretty much like punching bags. The double here, perfect example, and the Seller's Dial. The big boss dude, he can punch him and not kill him, which is perfect because he doesn't spend his AP to do the little switchy stuff. Other than that, you just gotta manage your spacing. Like I said, making sure he can't reach you, but he can hit the summons. So he could, so his ghoulies could make him not invulnerable, but lower his resistance. With that being said, this dungeon is very RNG heavy. If you look at the dual achievement, I think it's very charitable. I think it's like 40 turns. So I think it took me close to an hour to beat this dungeon as a duel. I'm not gonna make you guys watch the whole hour. I'll probably run it through halfway through. You probably skip it. But a lot of it is just managing the placement of these guys. But first off, just taking out the mob characters. Healing definitely helps. But like here, like you see Saram hitting the big guy, and it kind of attracts everybody. And there you go, the big guy hitting the summon and then going into the Saram. That's why you gotta stay away from his area of reach. So things, they could go south pretty fast, pretty quick if you're not too careful. Let me see, what else am I missing? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Rage and P removal. Heals doesn't hurt. I mean, you're gonna get hit. I mean, just because of the whole gravity mechanic thing where it's happening, where it gravitates enemies towards each other. So here, what did I do here? I forget. Of course, invisibility always comes in clutch. But yeah, I decided to make a video on this because I didn't see too many explained videos on this. Especially on the English side of things. I see people just being in the dungeon. In fact, this is the first time I tried this dungeon. Usually during October I take a break from Dofus. It's October, it's Halloween. Birthdays come up and stuff like that. It's a very social month for me, so I usually don't play a whole lot during October. So surprisingly, this is the first time I do it in like 3-4 years, which is not too bad. It is, once you get the hang of it, it is kind of a little bit of enjoyable dungeon. And these guys are slipping, sliding all over the place. Yeah, so you see right there, he did like this little jazz hand type of thing. And the lower -70 resistance is huge. Ideally, you want to get in a position where both of those guys are doing jazz hands around the boss, and they hit the boss, and then you could be doing massive damage on the boss because he's gonna have like negative resistance, which happens here. Does it happen here? I forget if it happens here. It might have happened when I did it earlier. But it's very rare to get that. Like I said, the little ghoulies have Schaefer AI. Sometimes they pass their turn, which is kind of annoying. And that's why this dungeon takes so long. So depending, the first time I did this dungeon, it took me like 20 minutes. It was with 3 characters. And then the second time I did it, it took me 40, and then the duel with my friend took me close to an hour. Just because it just wasn't working out where the ghoulies, they were hitting each other and then they were killing each other, they weren't hitting the boss. And here, yeah, sometimes you get into a little pickle, just gotta move things around, you gotta be conscious with the shifting. Double and dial, they come in clutch here. I'm not sure if beacons are a good option here, because I know beacons, they're more like static summons, or more like structural, so they're not really character summons, so I don't know if those work. But you might be able to use them to kind of manage the slip and sliding that's going on, kind of like those gaps in those walls. There we go. Hulk hands right there, and then he's gonna go after one of the characters. But yeah, if there's summons around, he's gonna spend all his efforts on hitting the summons. As you saw the ghoul right there, he just walked. He didn't do anything. He just walked. Salah here with some heals. No, I thought it was going to be lagging there. I was like, oh, what's going on? What's going on there? Lag out? But yeah, so now that the other monster is taken care of, now it's more about managing the position, getting these guys in place. Which brings me into another kind of mechanic thing too. One thing to be very mindful, which I'm checking right now, is if he starts his turn next to a ghoulie, those ghoulies are gonna buff him by 2 MP. So he is gonna be able to extend his reach. So make sure you're always checking his MP, so he doesn't reach you. So right there, I moved the cellar, so it doesn't chase after her. So here comes the ghoulie. He does jazz hands. He did jazz hands, but he didn't give him the negative resistance. So that's something to watch out for too. So even though he does it, I think it's like a 2 range little circle. Even though he pulls in things, the way it works is he jazz hands, he does minor resistance, and then he pulls things in. So just because you got pulled in doesn't mean you got the minus resistance. So if you have a Cellar, I'd say Cellar's a good teammate to have here, just because you could summon a dial every turn. And that dial, it is one bulky summon. So bulky, can't, the boss can't take it out in 1 turn. And I try to avoid as much as I can trying to get the ghoulies next to the boss, so the boss doesn't start next to their turn. So I'm trying to be mindful on the spacing here, where I'm leaving a little bit of a gap or space in between them. So let me see, punch, flip, punch. Summons one of these guys, jazz hands. See, and the ghoulie just walked away. He just walked away. Trick or treat. You either get a trick or a treat. Who knows? Who knows? So we are in turn 10. I'll probably run it up to like turn 15 here in real time, and then I'll fast forward or time skip. Definitely up to the point where I'm doing some damage on him, so you guys can see. Okay, definitely Make sure you have like a good hour to spare when you're trying to do this dungeon, especially if you're new at it. And hopefully this video helps. Speaking of this video, hit the like, people. Hit the like. If you find it useful, leave a little pumpkin emoji if you find it useful. So MP manipulation is good, but because I'm using the summon strategy to bait, I realize it's not that effective, because I do want the ghoulies to be able to reach the guy. See, that would have been nice right there, but unfortunately he swapped earlier and he is invulnerable at the moment. So he got hit like 3 times, and he got the jazz hands. Yeah, so he swapped there, even though he has not negative resistance, but he has a regular resistance here. Didn't matter. It didn't matter. Again, so there's dialed, kind of bait him a little bit there. So the Kewit, it's another static summon. I'm not sure. He did hit the Kewit at some point, but I don't think he kind of goes out of his way to kill the Kewit. And then here with precision management, the cool thing about fear is like it's not a hitting move, so it doesn't cause a chain reaction. Okay, so right here, he didn't swap, so that means he is vulnerable. Gas hands, it didn't get him with the negative, another guy just passed. So you're going to be dealing with a lot of this kind of scenario where nothing really happens just because of RNG. Which is alright, it's part of, it's part of the dungeon mechanic of the wild AI these guys have. So don't sweat it. Like I said, the achievements, even the chrono achievement, I think it's like 20 turns, especially with 3 characters. Should be way easier in kind of managing these guys. And speaking of achievements, this whole dungeon is pretty friendly. You can probably do these achievements pretty easily, and you get those nice red Ghoulbio resources with on Granite Pan. They sell pretty well, and they're not too hard to drop either. The only downside is you do need keys to run this dungeon, unfortunately. No more was that keys, like weekly keys. Okay, so I think this is where I have it, guys. So hit minus 45 resistance, jazz hands minus 70 resistance, hit and hit. So this is like a perfect scenario where it worked out. We still missed 1 jazz hands and 1 hit, but can't complain. You can't complain. And there we go, folks. This is pretty much it. And this is how you start whittling down his health. And, making sure you're out of range. And this is where I say I really wanted to get a bow on this around for this video, but ooh, hit him with the 1.2. Ooh, hit him with the 1.0. Don't get greedy. Don't get greedy. Yeah, so right now he's got a bunch of MP. So I think he does go after me after this. So I realize he's gonna hit me anyway, so I might as well hit him with the 870. And you'll see here he'll run after the characters if you can hit him. Regardless if there's summons around, he'll prioritize character players. So he'll hit, and then yeah, and then he runs over there. So there you go, folks. Hopefully this happens back to back, where, and these guys kill each other too, where you get consecutive turns where he doesn't swap, and the ghoulies hit him, and you can beat this dungeon faster. Unfortunately, as you guys saw, sometimes it just doesn't work out. It just doesn't work out. Sometimes you get tricked. And I think here we are able to hit him again. Maybe we'll see. Alright, pressure more. Always checking his MP count. Poisons are good too because they're not like physical hits. Alright, Ghoulie runs over and actually hits him. Just one time. And Jazz Hands. Yeah, so I was able to get some negative resistance on him here, which I think put me at the halfway point on his health. Yeah, it wasn't a whole lot of negative resistance, but it was something. It was something at least. Just hit and run. Hit and run. This is why you need range. Because he doesn't hit hard, but if you get caught up with the ghoulies, it's not going to be a good time. Yeah, see, if I had a bow here, I would hit him with a bow. Alright folks, alright, so I think this is a good spot. I hope you guys got the gist of it here. We are at the 23-minute mark, and we are just going to cut here at the end. Alright, and we are back here at the 47-minute mark, 47 and 25 seconds in. Things are getting a little tight, a little rough, but as you can see, the boss's health is almost there. And you know what, let me tell you something folks, it ain't Halloween without a little fright. The game crashed on me a couple of times, and at the worst times, to say the least. So here, I'm just trying to get away because the ceramic's getting squeezed over there. But again, just doing the whole summon thing throughout the whole fight, trying to bait him with summon. Checking the MP on the boss, making sure I'm safe. Alright, he got baited. Ghoulie just walks away. Jazz Hands. Hit and hit. And there you go. This was going to be the wrap up here. But it turned out, I thought the seller was lagging up. But it turned out I was lagging up. And whew, when I came back folks, I was sweating. Because I did not want to waste a whole hour in this recording. Look at the boss health. I'm like literally like running out of time. and I'm one hit away from getting this duel. I log back in, and I'm still lagging, I'm sweating over here. I'm terrified. I'm scared. I'm scared for my life. I'm scared for the children. I'm scared for everybody. Look at that. I'm not moving. The little turn timeline up there is lagging up. Everything's lagging up. Close the app. Log back in. Energy's low. Palms are sweaty. Bones are shivering. I'm still kind of lagging up over here. I don't know what's going on. Boom. Body bag. I was this close to failing this thing, but there you go, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed that little snippet here near the end. Out of nowhere, the game just decided to crash and burn. Maybe it was the long recording. Maybe it was the Halloween ghoul spirit. I don't know what it was. But folks, hope you guys enjoyed this rundown video on the Ghoulden Palace. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Hit the like. This has been Challenger EX. Until next time, take care of yourself and peace.